TMAG Mini.
Hey, dear listener, Dave here with my good friend
Chris.
Yes, we did the right order this time. In our practice, I accidentally said I was Chris, and that's not a joke. Here with a little TMAG mini short. Did we ever land on a name for these things that are not as long as the usual ones? That's a name. Episodes that are not as long as the usual.
Not as long as the usual ones. Yeah, that's good. We talked mini because short we didn't want to confuse with YouTube Shorts.
Yes.
So I think TMAG Mini is where we landed.
All right. Okay. Well, a little mini here, talking about a movie that just came to the theaters that Chris and I were able to go to together. We both brought our families. It was a lot of fun, and that is the Minecraft movie.
Crafting of Mines.
Yes, there was both of that. There was mining, there was crafting in various orders. There was lots of Jack Black. So, Chris, you and I, we took our families. I took my young daughter, who is 7, who was very excited for this. She plays a little bit of Minecraft, not a ton, but she does play it. The whole big affair. We went to our local Alamo Draft House. Just a plug for that great establishment. So everything about the experience, the people we went with, the trappings, it was probably a packed theater, right? I mean, I'd say 80%
it was pretty full,
right?
Definitely.
Opening night, Friday, 7 o'clock show. First impressions of the Minecraft movie.
My first impression is I liked it. The way I described it was it's not a perfect movie, but it's a good movie. And I stand by that. Even after having a few days to decompress, I liked it. I thought it was really good. Certainly from the first trailer that they released, which everybody had a problem with.
Yeah, that was bad.
I was not expecting much at all, but it was way better than that. And it was competent. It was good. It was well done.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit more positive about it. Part of the vibe, and there's a little bit of bias here when you're in the theaters, is everyone else enjoying it. And man, people were laughing. I can't remember the last time I went to I can. I went to a movie and they clapped at the end. The Dark Knight is the last time I can remember doing that for opening night. Yeah. So people were clapping. Now, a lot of them were little kids. It was, and of course I watched my daughter, and one of your kids was sitting next to my daughter, and I watched them, and they were having a good time. I was like, okay, I can't help it. It's infectious. I really enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. So let's, before we get too deep into it, the director of this film is someone that, of course, you and I are very familiar with, but probably everybody is familiar with it, maybe without even knowing it, and that is Jared Hess. Jared Hess of
Napoleon Dynamite.
That's right. I was gesturing. This is an audio thing, so people can. Yes, Jared Hess of Napoleon Dynamite, of Gentlemen Broncos, which is a great film. Look it up, find it. It's awesome. It's a hidden gem. It's so hidden.
Also, Nacho Libre with Jack Black.
Yeah, there are definitely others too. My mind went blank. Yeah, so Jared Hess, who is a very good writer and who's really good at creating quirky and interesting characters. So what Minecraft had was, in my view, looking at it from an outsider who played the game like only when my son would be like, I can't get past that part, and I'd like see if I can jump over that. Okay, there you go. That's what you do. That's my experience with it, right? Or watching him play or my daughter play. I had no idea about the story, the world, the lore. I knew that there was mining and there was crafting and there was a fellow named Steve. That's kind of it. Zombies and Herobrine, which I don't even know is actually in the game or an urban legend. So I didn't know anything, right? What Jared Hess did is he took this world, in my view, and he actually gave it personality, because he's really good at that, really good at creating interesting, quirky characters and giving them fun things to do and be. It may be a little one-dimensional at times, right? But still, it's, it makes it fun. This movie was in development, for many years. I don't know if you're aware of that. Since like
7 to 10.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, 2015, I think. It was originally with Rob McElhaney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then after about 3 years, he dropped out, and I think went for a few other folks. So it took a while to get this. Steve Carell was attached to star for a brief period of time in Jack Black's role. So I was like, okay, this is a pretty good pairing, and it did not disappoint. I actually found myself, for the most part, really liking all of the characters, even the obnoxious ones, right? There was one character, and I won't get too much into it, I didn't think was particularly well developed. But for the most part, I was like, okay, these are funny characters. They're doing and saying funny things. And I really was just having a great time. And it wasn't like so silly and childish that I didn't, that it's like, okay. That it was, totally a kid's movie that I had to sit along with, right? But it also wasn't over kids' heads. I know I'm talking a lot here, but if you recall, I did the mini on Sonic the Hedgehog where I, applauded it, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 specifically. I applauded it for having a broad type of humor that could appeal to its entire audience without ever pandering or being subversive. And I would give that same credit to Minecraft, right? It worked for everybody. It is positive. It is squeaky clean, right? And it is just a great time for all. And I give the credit to the director and writer Jared Hess, who is really good at making those types of films. Sorry, I'll stop talking now.
No, you're fine. And your analysis is on point. And I agree with most of it. You talk about how it was in development for a very long time. And that's very apparent during the opening credits, where the title card for screenwriters is, I think they had to fade to multiple screens. There were so many screenwriters on this film. And usually when you see that, that is a huge red flag that this is going to be a hot mess. But it was very tight. It was very concise. You spoke to the lore, and the cool thing is the lore was totally there, but you could 100% enjoy that movie if you had no knowledge of what an Enderman was or anything, right? And to be able to pull off that kind of sleight of hand is a deft skill. And I think Jared Hess did an excellent job doing that. If I were going to criticize the movie, and
you better not. I think that I've made it clear. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give it one knock. And you said that maybe I didn't sound as excited about it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, but here is my one knock. It never stops. I mean, if you were to chart the progress of this movie, it would start on one end and it would just be a diagonal line straight up. You never get a breath in this movie. It's just go, 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 go.
That's true. It's like an episode of SpongeBob in that sense, right? And I don't mean that as a knock, but that...
right.
That it does not slow down to let anyone take a breath. That's
yeah,
true.
and to be quite honest, when I got probably about 2/3 of the way through, I started getting a little tired in the movie.
Yeah, you were looking nervous. You were smoking a cigarette and drinking a cup of coffee.
I know, and they had to come in and they were like, "You don't even smoke, sir." And I was like, "This movie is I shot my nerves." So, boy, have we ever had a more middle-aged man comment in this whole show than what I just said. So anyway, that's my one complaint. I would have enjoyed, just a lull in the action, a little breath. Let's not move from set piece to set piece to set piece. So that's my one gripe. Otherwise, I think it was a very successful movie. I think it did well. It's doing well in the box office. Audiences are responding. Critics, not so much, but who cares?
Yeah.
The audiences are responding to it, and I think it's great. And there's no question there's going to be a Minecraft 2. It did well enough. They've got the team in place, and I say good for them. Go make your movie.
It's interesting. There's two things that are a little slight bit in conflict about what you said. It is very tight. It goes by very fast. It does not ever slow down. But part of that is they did not, at an hour and 42 minutes. I mean, there was no fat on that film at all. And maybe it could have used an extra 5 minutes of backstory. I think that there could have been some really funny stuff, and maybe we'll see it in an extended edition around Jason Momoa's character, the Garbage Man. His backstory or something. I think that there could have been some funny stuff there. But you're right. It was 0 to 100 very quickly. It does not slow down. If you remember that first teaser trailer, it was painfully unfunny. What's funny to me is that if you watch the movie and you see those parts, they're still the most painfully unfunny parts of the movie. It's what a bad decision. Did you put out a bad trailer or teaser on purpose? I don't understand that. But it was it was a great time, and squeaky clean. I'm going to say that because that is something that a lot of parents are always concerned about. Is is this violent? Is this going to be making suggestive, sort of tones? Is there innuendo? Nah, there's none of that here. I mean, I think, the bad guys in the nether world, having, their world's a little hellish. But I'm going to presume that's the way it looks in the video game, and it's, it wasn't like, terrible. Souls being in torment, flame forever. You didn't get that sense. It just looked like a smoky, stinky place. And my daughter, who gets pretty scared of things, wasn't scared at all by any of it. So she's 7. So I felt so comfortable with the whole thing. And Jack Black, gosh, good on him. He's got a mission to be in every kids movie. There's if you record like your child's birthday party on your iPhone, he might be in it. Just like, hey, this is technically a movie with kids. I'm Jack Black and I'm here. But you know what? He kind of plays himself, right? And that works when you're a charming, funny guy. It does get old, but this was pretty perfect. His casting. I just thought it was like, oh, him again at first. But then I was like, oh, okay. That really. Pretty darn great for it. And I know, like, at one point I mentioned Steve Carell was attached. I couldn't see Steve Carell doing it and pulling it off like that.
It'd be a very different movie, that's for sure. But I'm going to take umbrage with one thing you said, which is squeaky clean. I pulled the stats, and according to IMDb, there are multiple uses of the word idiot and infrequent uses of the word crap and frickin'.
Okay, well, so I retract all of my endorsements for this film. Idiot. Yeah, well, I
will say that and I won't give it away, but at the very end of the film, when Jack Black is confronting the antagonist of the movie, there is a gem of a joke in that sequence that legitimately was a gut-busting laugh from me. So kudos to the film for putting that in and executing it. The timing was perfect. I was a really big fan of that moment. I remember
the whole thing. Great stuff. Jack Black's timing with that sort of comedy he is a real comedian, right? He's there's almost like this whole like Eddie Murphy phase, right? You want to kind of lump him in with that. Well, you're just cashing in with kids movies like that Eddie Murphy had done, for the last 30 years or whatever. But I think Jack Black just actually enjoys it. That this is what he wants to do, and host the Nickelodeon Kids Choice and get slimed and grow his beard out all crazy. And I get the sense that he's living his best life, and these are not just paychecks and cash grabs. That this is what he wants to do. So good for him. I agree.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, and good for him that he's actually able to line himself up with material that in this case it is of high quality. And a big part of that, I give it to Hess, because this could have been just a situation where, because it's Minecraft, the IP, they're going to come see it. It doesn't have to be that great. I feel like they really invested a lot of creativity and energy to make it so good that you did not have to care about Minecraft to really enjoy it. And I do not care at all about Minecraft. It's, Legos, the video game with less personality.
Well, to have a counterpoint to that discussion, my wife's criticism of the film was she expected more mining and more crafting.
The mining was... that's not a joke. I did think there was a pretty good amount of crafting. I can't believe this is maybe the dumbest exchange two humans have ever had. The crafting, that was on point. But, oh man, the mining, they barely mined. There wasn't a lot of there was some, but I don't know. And there was some mining. There's certainly some crafting that happened in the crafting table. All the things that you would expect if you know anything about Minecraft. But there wasn't a ton of mining, and maybe it's just because it's not very interesting. I don't know, right? So, but that's a kind of a fair. It's kind of fair, right? But the point of Minecraft is the creativity, the imagination part, and I think they express that in other ways than necessarily the mining and the crafting bit. Ironically,
I agree. I think they did a good job
Yeah.
with the movie, especially where we were with that teaser trailer. We are
Oh, boy.
worlds from that place now, and it's doing a good job. It's being rewarded for being a good movie, and that's great. I like to see
Yeah,
that.
it's killing it, right? I think like 300 million worldwide is what they think it's made so far. So it's it's exceeding expectations in a year that's been pretty poor, right? The theaters needed this film, right? Help us, Jack Black. You're our only hope, is what all the theater executives are saying. So yeah, it's good. Good timing. You know what I hope it does? I hope it gives Hess the spotlight he deserves. Because I've always loved his work. Everything I've read about him, he seems like a great guy. Him and his wife work together an awful lot, and I would love to see him get other bigger properties or other opportunities. Small films are great too. Just more opportunities, see more of him because I think he's fantastic.
I agree. I mean, he is a very quirky filmmaker, and
Yeah.
he's certainly not to everyone's taste. And I would say that by far, Minecraft is his most approachable film.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what opportunities he is offered and what ones he takes, because I think there's no question that they're coming, right? Like this is a breakout moment for him, and it's going to open some doors that never would have been opened before. So it'll be really interesting to see what he does, because he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who will pander to just, oh, I'm going to make another popular movie. I think he is kind of Wes Anderson-esque in that regard. Every movie he makes feels like a Jared Hess movie. And it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah. And, you good on Warner Brothers and all the other folks who were involved in the investment of this film for taking a risk, because it is a bit of a risk with a guy like Jared Hess. Good on them, and it paid off. So, I hope that is a lesson to us all. I want to ask, in the pantheon of video game movies, where does this land for you?
It's high. I don't think it is better than the Super Mario Brothers movie, the new one, not the original.
No, not the original one. No, Leguizamo Dennis Hopper.
But it's close, right? I mean, like, and I'd have to pull up a list of all the video game movies, but there aren't many that are worthwhile. So this one ranks very high, maybe second, third, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think that for me, I'm having to go off of just recency, because I can't remember all of them, and I am going to say that this edges out Sonic 3, which I thought was just fantastic, and probably this new Super Mario movie. As great as that was, I just felt more joy watching this. And the Super Mario movie I recognized everything. I knew the lore. I was like, what, Rainbow Road, what? And it was all there, right? It's like, I had that nostalgia connection. This, I had none of that with Minecraft. And I felt even more joy watching it, because it was just so fun and so funny. And so I gotta give it to it, right? That even with a Mario bias and Sonic in a big Jim Carrey bias, right? Jim Carrey's very funny. That this had none of those things going, and just sheer power of its own personality made a great film. And I say we talked a lot about Jack Black, Jason Momoa. You got to give that guy. He did a great job, just kind of playing against type and being hilarious and not taking himself seriously at all. It was really he's not got a lot of range, that Momoa kid, but he's pretty darn funny. So good job, sir. Good job.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
All right, we both liked it. Me a little bit more than you, but I would say this is 2 middle-aged thumbs up. And certainly my
if we
daughter
can do that without injuring our thumbs.
Yes. You've got like a wrist thing on right now. You can't.
I'm all right.
Yeah, you can't even. Yeah, there he did it. It's severe. He's going to the ER right after this. I can hear the ambulance in the background. Your wife called it in for you, knowing he's going to do a small recording and hurt himself. Yeah. This is a good one. I'm sure it'll be streaming in about 30 minutes. Because everything is. Although actually, this is making money for them. They're gonna leave this in the theaters for a long time. They're gonna beat this horse to death. But glad to see it. Glad to see a success. And take your kids. Take a loan out. Maybe if you got 2 cars, sell one of them. You can ride a bicycle to work and take the kids to the theater.
Yeah, enjoy it. Get some popcorn.